You know what really pisses me off? We've watched Seth Rollins give everything to this business for over a decade, literally sacrifice his body night after night, work through injuries that would have retired lesser men. And now WWE is letting him wrestle on what doctors are calling a ticking time bomb. Yeah, you heard that right. While you were cheering for his matches, while Triple H was booking him in brutal stipulation matches, Seth has been working with an injury so severe that one wrong bump could end everything. And the worst part? Nobody's talking about it. WWE's silent. The dirt sheets are silent. It's like everyone's waiting for the inevitable catastrophe to happen before they start pretending they cared all along. Well, I'm done staying quiet, and by the end of this video, you'll understand why Seth Rollins' career might already be over, whether he admits it or not. Let me paint you a picture of just how bad this situation has gotten. Seth Rollins has been wrestling with chronic knee issues since that devastating injury back in his Shield days, but what we're seeing now is something entirely different. We're talking about cumulative damage that's been building for years, masked by adrenaline, painkillers, and pure stubborn determination. The man tore his ACL, MCL, and meniscus in 2015, came back too soon because WWE needed him, and then did it all over again in 2020. That's 2 complete knee reconstructions before he even hit his mid-30s. But here's where it gets truly terrifying. Recent reports from sources close to his medical team suggest that the cartilage in his knee is essentially gone. We're talking bone-on-bone contact every single time he takes a step, let alone when he's hitting a stomp or taking a power bomb through a table. Do you understand what that means? Every single match Seth works now isn't just risky, it's actively destroying what's left of his knee. Physical therapists who've reviewed his recent matches have pointed out visible signs that his leg is compromised. The way he favors it during lockups, how he modifies his running technique, the subtle grimaces he tries to hide when he lands from even basic moves. This isn't speculation anymore. This is a man whose body is screaming for him to stop, but the show must go on, right? Wrong! Dead wrong! And WWE knows it. Triple H knows it. But they keep putting him out there because Seth sells tickets. Seth moves merchandise, and Seth will never say no because that's just who he is. Here's what makes me absolutely furious. Seth Rollins is one of the most talented performers of this generation. He revolutionized what it means to be a WWE superstar in the modern era. He can work any style, tell any story, adapt to any opponent. He's carried Raw on his back through some of its darkest periods. He's been WWE Champion, Universal Champion, the first ever NXT Champion, a Grand Slam winner. This man has done everything WWE has ever asked of him and more. He came back from a career-threatening back injury that could have paralyzed him. He returned from not 1 but 2 torn ACLs. He's worked through torn labrums, broken noses, cracked ribs. The man is a legitimate warrior, but there comes a point where toughness becomes stupidity. And I hate to say it, but Seth crossed that line months ago. The medical community is pretty unified on this. Once you've had multiple ACL reconstructions on the same knee, you're living on borrowed time. Add in the cartilage deterioration, the years of wear and tear from his absolutely insane high-risk style, and you've got a recipe for permanent disability. We're not just talking about ending his career anymore. We're talking about Seth potentially not being able to walk normally at 45. We're talking about countless surgeries down the road. Knee replacement surgeries that don't always work, chronic pain that never goes away. Is that what we want for one of our heroes? Because that's where this is headed, and fast. What absolutely kills me is that Seth has already proven he has nothing left to accomplish. He's a future Hall of Famer. His legacy is cemented. He could retire tomorrow and nobody would question his place among the all-time greats. But Seth isn't built that way. He's got that old-school mentality where you work hurt, you push through pain, you never show weakness. That mentality made him a star, but it's also going to cripple him for life if something doesn't change immediately. And WWE is enabling it. They're putting him in main events. They're having him work with guys who aren't exactly known for their safe working style. They're booking him in ladder matches and steel cage matches like his knee isn't held together by screws and prayers. The parallels to Edge are haunting. Edge retired in 2011 because his neck was so compromised that one more concussion, one more bad bump could have paralyzed or killed him. He stayed retired for 9 years, got cleared through a miracle of modern medicine, and came back. But Edge's situation was different. His injury could heal with time and rest. Seth's knee isn't going to magically regenerate cartilage. The damage is permanent and progressive. Every match makes it worse. There is no 9-year comeback story waiting for Seth. There's just the finish line getting closer and the question of whether he reaches it on his feet or on a stretcher. You want to know the real tragedy here? Seth knows. Of course he knows. He's not stupid. He feels that knee grinding every single day. He knows what the doctors are telling him. But he's also got a newborn daughter at home. A wife in Becky Lynch who understands this business maybe better than anyone, and a sense of responsibility to the fans and to WWE that won't let him walk away while he can still go. That loyalty is going to destroy him. WWE has a history of wringing every last drop out of their top guys until there's nothing left. Look at Daniel Bryan's neck. Look at Rey Mysterio's knees. Look at what happened to guys like Dynamite Kid and Chris Benoit who couldn't walk away until their bodies made the decision for them. The smartest thing Seth Rollins could do right now is announce his retirement. Focus on getting whatever surgical interventions might help preserve his quality of life and transition into a backstage role. He's brilliant on the microphone. He understands storytelling. He could be an incredible coach or producer. WWE would absolutely give him a Legends contract and occasional appearances. He'd still be part of the business he loves without actively crippling himself. But that's not going to happen, is it? Because Seth is going to work until his knee literally gives out in the middle of a match, until he tears something that can't be repaired, until the decision is made for him in the worst possible way. And we're all going to act shocked when it happens, even though we saw it coming from a mile away. What WWE should do is take the decision out of his hands. Write him off television. Give him a retirement angle where he goes out on his back putting over young talent. Let him have the emotional farewell he deserves instead of the devastating injury that's coming if this continues. But they won't. Because business is business, and as long as Seth can walk to the ring, they'll keep using him. That's the ugly truth about professional wrestling. The machine doesn't care about you once you're used up. It moves on to the next guy while you're left, dealing with the consequences of all those minor injuries that were never actually minor. And let's talk about the elephant in the room that nobody wants to address. The painkillers. We all know WWE has a dark history with prescription medication abuse. Guys working through injuries they shouldn't be working through, popping pills just to make it through the night. Seth's been pretty open about his approach to pain management, but what he's not telling you is how much medication it takes to get through a single match anymore. We're talking about anti-inflammatories that destroy your stomach lining, cortisone shots that provide temporary relief while accelerating joint deterioration, and God knows what else just to make it through a standard television match. This isn't sustainable. This is a man medicating himself into oblivion just to do his job, and WWE is perfectly fine with it as long as he can still perform. You want to know something that'll really make your blood boil? There are people in WWE's medical staff who've reportedly voiced concerns about clearing Seth for matches. But those concerns get overruled because of politics, because of television schedules, because Seth himself insists he's fine, even when he's clearly not. The company doctor can recommend rest all they want, but if the talent refuses and management needs them for a pay-per-view, guess what happens? They work. And when that talent is someone as valuable as Seth Rollins, someone who's proven time and again that he'll deliver no matter what, the pressure to keep going becomes unbearable. It's a toxic cycle that's been destroying wrestlers for generations, and we're watching it play out in real time with one of our favorites. Think about Seth's recent matches. Really think about them. Watch how he moves compared to 3 years ago, 5 years ago, back when he was Tyler Black in Ring of Honor doing shooting star presses and Phoenix splashes like it was nothing. That guy is gone. The Seth Rollins we're watching now is a shell of his former self athletically, compensating with ring psychology and character work because his body simply can't do what it used to do. The buckle bomb? Modified or eliminated entirely in most matches now. The suicide dive? He's doing it less frequently, and you can see the hesitation before he commits. Even his signature stomp, the move that defined his main event run, he's having to think twice about because the impact on his landing leg is excruciating. These aren't just age-related declines. This is a body that's shutting down. Here's something else that should terrify everyone. Seth's injury isn't just about his knee anymore. When you're compensating for one compromised joint, you're putting extra stress on everything else. His back, which already has a history of problems, is now bearing weight distribution it was never meant to handle. His hips are torqued from the unnatural way he has to move to protect that knee. His other leg is doing twice the work it should be doing. We're looking at a cascading failure of his entire lower body, and once that starts, there's no stopping it. Physical therapists call it the injury spiral. One major problem leads to compensatory injuries, which lead to more compensations until your entire kinetic chain is compromised. Seth is deep in that spiral, and he's still taking German suplexes and frog splashes from the top rope. The financial aspect of this is also worth discussing because it explains why Seth keeps going even when he shouldn't. Professional wrestlers, even top guys in WWE, have a limited earning window. Seth's in his late 30s now, which means he's got maybe 5 more peak earning years if his body holds up, which it clearly isn't going to. He's got a family to provide for, a lifestyle to maintain, and the very real knowledge that once he stops, the money stops flowing at the same rate. Sure, he'll get a Legends deal, sure he'll do appearances and maybe some commentary work, but it's not the same as being a featured performer working premium live events. That financial pressure, combined with his natural competitive drive, creates a situation where retirement becomes almost impossible to choose voluntarily. The decision will be made for him by his body completely giving out, and by then it'll be too late to prevent the long-term damage. Let me tell you about something that happened. Recently, that should have been a massive wake-up call, but somehow wasn't. During a house show match a few months ago, Seth's knee visibly gave out during a basic sequence. Not a high spot, not some crazy move, just a regular lockup. His leg buckled, he went down, and you could see the panic on his opponent's face. The match got immediately called off, Seth was helped to the back, and WWE announced it as a precautionary measure. But people who were there said Seth was in agony. Real, unscripted agony. And you know what happened? He was back working television 2 weeks later. 2 weeks. That's not enough time to heal a stubbed toe, let alone whatever happened to that already compromised knee, but WWE needed him for a storyline. Seth wasn't going to let his brothers down, and so he worked. And he'll keep working until the day his leg literally snaps in half on live television. The comparison to other sports is striking. In the NFL, if a player has the kind of chronic joint issues Seth has, they shut him down. In the NBA, teams rest players for far less serious conditions because they understand that one catastrophic injury can end a career and create liability issues. But professional wrestling operates in this bizarre gray area where performers are independent contractors with no union, no real protection, and no one forcing them to prioritize their health over the show. It's carnage masquerading as entertainment. And we're all complicit because we keep watching, keep cheering, keep demanding that our favorites give us just one more match, one more moment, one more sacrifice on the altar of our entertainment. What makes this even more heartbreaking is that Seth has people in his life who are begging him to stop. Becky Lynch, who's seen firsthand what this business can do to a body, who retired once herself to start a family, is reportedly terrified about what's happening to her husband. His trainers and longtime friends from his independent days have gone on record saying they're worried. Even other wrestlers, guys who understand the culture of toughness and working hurt, have privately expressed concern. But Seth is surrounded by yes-men at WWE who tell him he's fine, who need him to be fine, who can't afford for him to not be fine because television ratings and pay-per-view buys depend on it. It's a support system that's actually an enablement system, and it's going to cost Seth everything if it hasn't already. I hope I'm wrong about all of this. I genuinely do. I hope Seth gets that miraculous medical breakthrough, or that he wakes up tomorrow and realizes he's done enough and walks away with his health mostly intact. But everything we're seeing, everything we're hearing from people close to the situation, everything that medical professionals are saying when they analyze his movement, it all points to the same conclusion. Seth Rollins' career isn't just potentially ending soon. It might have already ended, and he just hasn't accepted it yet. The next time Seth takes a bad bump, hits one stomp too many, or lands wrong from a suicide dive, that could be it. Career over. And unlike Edge, there won't be a comeback. There will just be regret, pain, and a lifetime of wondering if those last few matches were really worth it. So yeah, I'm angry. I'm angry at WWE for enabling this. I'm angry at Seth for being too tough for his own good. And I'm angry that we're probably going to watch one of the greatest wrestlers of this generation destroy himself in real time because nobody has the courage to make him stop. Drop your thoughts in the comments because we need to be talking about this before it's too late.